Hi, my name is Alyssa from Reselling Savvy, and today I'm going to talk about ways you can save money on your Poshmark sales. Today I'm going to be breaking down some of the biggest money traps of selling on Poshmark that people get caught in, including myself, and I'm going to give you some simpler alternatives so that you can make a little bit more money per sale. All of these tips have to do with packaging and shipping your item. So these are tips that you can apply to every single sale. I will be breaking down prices a little bit later in the video so you can see exactly what you would potentially be saving. The first thing that is easy to save money on is the way that you package your item. So are you putting in additional cards? Are you putting extra stickers on your items? Are you buying special mailers or boxes? And then the other way that you can easily save money is how you're attaching your label to your package. I did some math, and please know that these numbers are approximated. It's impossible for me to go through every single type of printer, every brand of label and tape and paper that there is. So I took approximated prices from Amazon based on what I considered a decent deal and what I would be comfortable paying, in addition to considering what I've paid in the past for some of these things. The most expensive way to put a label on your package that I found, and I'm sure there are more, but the most expensive, reasonable way to put a label on your package was printing off the label on your computer and then attaching it with Scotch brand tape. This is not an endorsement. Scotch tape is much more expensive. I understand it's better quality, but I assumed about a yard of tape per label. Yes, that might be a little bit high, especially if you just go around the border. I have a policy of I'd rather it arrive safe. So I tape over the entire label if I have to tape over a label, because I don't want the barcode or the address to get ruined and then the item would be lost. So the price breakdown for 16 cents per label using Scotch tape is about 1 cent per piece of paper. Again, you could use scrap paper or you could fit 2 labels per paper, but we're assuming 1 label per page. So 1 cent per piece of paper, about 5 cents per page in printer costs, meaning the cost of the printer, the cost of the ink, etc. Again, that's approximated. And then it costs you about 10 cents per yard to get Scotch tape. So that's 10 cents to put the label on because I'm using about a yard as my guess. So in total, that's 16 cents to put a label onto a package using a printer and Scotch tape. The next most expensive way would be printing the label on your printer and then using a label sleeve. I used to use these all the time. I loved them. They're very easy to use, but the label sleeves cost about 7 cents a piece, and then you add in that penny for the page and the 5 cents for the printer and the supplies, and you're at about 13 cents per label to use a sleeve. Obviously, I didn't do this math when I was using those, or I would have stopped. The third most reasonable way to attach your label to your package would be buying printable labels that you can run through your printer. So these usually come to a sheet, and then you just run it through your printer like a normal piece of paper and it peels off, and then you can attach it to your package. You have your typical 5 cent printer fee, plus those labels cost about 7 cents a piece. So 5 plus 7, you get 12 cents. Slightly cheaper than the sleeve, but not by much. The last 2 options are pretty comparable in price. The first one is using a printer, paper, and off-brand tape. And that runs about 8.5 cents per label. Now, there are a variety of off-brand tape brands you could buy. I know that some stores offer really cheap prices on tape as a get you in the store kind of thing. Our Menards had a pack of 8 rolls of clear tape for $2 at one point in time. But I know it drives some people crazy because that tape can be very frustrating to work with. I always keep it rolled over, so it's really not so bad, but it can peel and start to splinter and you feel like you never get to the end of the tape roll. So that's something to keep in mind. The other comparable way is to buy a thermal printer and thermal labels. This is the method that I use. Now, this one was really hard for me to approximate because I spent about $140 on my Rollo label printer. I love it. And there's really not a good estimate as to how long these printers last or how many pages they can put out. So I guessed about 2,000 labels, but I think that's probably low. I've had this printer for almost 2 years now and it's still going strong, but just for the sake of being fair, I guessed about 2,000 pages. So this is probably much cheaper than I'm telling you, but I wanted to be fair and honest. I pay about 2 cents per thermal label. So it costs somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 cents in printer fees for the thermal printer. And thermal printers don't use ink, so that's really just the price of the printer. And then I pay 2 cents per label, so 7 plus 2, that is 9 cents, which is quite comparable to the 8.5 cents that I said it would approximately cost to tape a label onto the package using cheap shipping tape. Now that I've broken that all down for you, as you can see, I'm a numbers person. Let's talk about some other ways. So that was specifically putting the labels on the packages, but let's talk about some other things that people add, some mistakes that I have made, and what kind of impact that would make on my business now. So when I first started out, I started out very cheap. And after a little while, I would say 6 months to a year of reselling, I started to get excited and I saw all of these beautiful poly mailers and fun stickers and business cards and things that you could add to your packages, and I got really excited and went a little bit overboard. So at my worst, I am going to tell you what I was paying per package to ship. Now, this is using Poshmark as an example. Another selling site might not work the same way because Poshmark only uses priority shipping labels. So this doesn't necessarily apply everywhere, but it gives you a pretty good perspective. I was spending about 38 cents per sale to ship my Poshmark items. This is approximated. Obviously, every sale is different. Some of them require different packaging, but assuming that I was putting it into a poly mailer and it was a clothing item, this is about what I was spending. Let's break down where that money was going. About 10 cents of that was on a poly mailer. I buy my poly mailers from Amazon Warehouse, so they're cheaper than the sticker price. Typically, you can get poly mailers that are cute for about 15 cents a piece. I try to get mine for 10 cents a piece or less, so I was spending about 10 cents on the poly mailer. I was spending 7 cents on the sleeve, which we've already discussed was not a good investment. My printer fee and the label printing was about 6 cents, so remember that was about a penny on the piece of paper, and then 5 cents in printer ink, printer cost, etc. I was putting a thank you sticker on my packages. Those cost me about a penny a piece. I was adding in business cards, which were somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 cents a piece, and then I was also adding in some kind of additional label, be it a fragile sticker, or at one point in time I thought it was a good idea to add please scan labels onto my packages, which looking back, that was such a silly thing because that's what they're going to do with them. That's like putting a please eat me sticker on a bag of chips. Duh. So that was a total waste of money, but I was spending another penny approximately on an additional sticker, be it the Scan Me sticker or the Fragile sticker. Also, at my worst, I was throwing in some kind of freebie, and the most common and cheapest one that I was giving were little hair ties, the elastic, the tie. They were really popular a few years ago. I don't even know what they are, but they were like a hair tie. Those cost me 8 cents a piece, and I would wrap the items in tissue paper, and tissue paper costs somewhere around a penny per sheet. So let's assume I used 2 sheets per package, so that was another 2 cents. All in all, that cost me 38 cents per package. So let's look at how much I could have saved if I did things the cheapest, easiest way. The mailers from the post office, which you can use on your Poshmark packages because they're priority labels, are free. That includes the padded mailers, that includes the Tyvek envelopes, it includes flat rate items, it includes all of the priority mail boxes, not the express boxes. Those are blue. The ones that you're looking for are more red, but those are free at your post office, or you can order them online and they'll deliver them to your house. You have to order in bulk though. I could have been printing labels on a normal printer and just attaching them with cheap tape. That would have cost me the 8.5 cents that I figured earlier. And then I would have skipped all of the other stickers, anything that I was adding, any wrapping, no business cards, nothing like that. So in total, I could have been shipping my items for somewhere around 8.5 cents per package. Literally the cost of printing and attaching the label. Now, something I would like to address for a moment. There are a lot of people in the reselling and sales community who encourage using the free UPS labels. UPS gives out free thermal labels to their customers. I can't condone taking something for free when you don't use that service. It doesn't feel right to me to take free UPS labels and then put them on a USPS package. You can make whatever argument you want. They're a big corporation. They can afford it. They have tons of money. Me taking labels from them isn't going to hurt them. I'm sure all of those things are true. It's not how I do things. I have a saying, people don't do business the way that I do business. And so I always want to show people the way that I do business. You might not do business the way that I do business, but I always try to be fair. Even if it means that I lose a little bit of money, I'm not that money hungry that I'm going to take something under false pretenses and then use it for my advantage. So you make that call, that's up to you, but I see people encouraging taking those free labels all the time, and that's just not what I'm about. If I were to use UPS as a shipping company more often, yeah, sure, that would be a perk of the business, but I don't. And honestly, I would rather just pay the money for the labels. So the difference between all of the fancy wrapping and extra junk on the package and just using the free mailers and a free label is about 29.5 cents per package. So if you ship 100 packages in a year, that's $29.50 that you would have saved. If you ship 500 packages in a year, that's $147.50 that you would save. So it's really up to you what you decide to spend your money on and what you feel is important. I do put business cards in my packages. I still have a ton of poly mailers because I got overly excited and bought way too many, so I'm working through those. I got really excited about thank you stickers, so I'm working through those. But other than that, the rest is up to you. I've talked about before that I put my items into a clear bag and then into a poly mailer. I would love to find a more sustainable solution. So if you have ideas, please let me know. But I'm really keen on making sure the item is protected, and thus far I haven't found a better way to protect the item other than putting it into a bag and then shipping it. So I encourage you to break down what you're spending per package to mail your items and see where you could save a little bit of money. For some of you, that might not be worth it. It might not be worth saving $30 on 100 packages, and you might find joy in wrapping your items or putting a thank you sticker on it or something like that. That's your call. Whatever you want to do is up to you, but I wish I had taken the time to do the math to see how much I was spending per package and figured out how I could reduce it. Because now that I know, there are so many changes that I would have made early on, but that's what this is all about. It's a learning experience, so hopefully my mistakes can help you save a little bit of money. Whatever you choose to do, please know that you're doing wonderfully. I am so thankful that you are here with me today, and I care so much about each and every one of you. I'm wishing you success and sales. Have a happy day.